Well, I'm excited to be here. Jim Mitchell was a great, great inspiration to me and still is. I came up to study at Berkeley doing my graduate work, my master's work in 1971 and 72. So we are now over 50 years since I took Jim Mitchell's class, and it still resonates well with me. Jim was, first of all, when I arrived, a gracious host. I came from a place where the professors and students seldom interacted. In the second weekend or so after arrival, the grad students were all invited over to Jim's house to have a kind of a picnic, a gathering point, talk to each other, and see each other as people, not just students and faculty. And that was characteristic of Jim. He was very engaging as a person, not just as a professor. So when I went to his classes, particularly the soil behavior class, it was interesting for me because I had gone directly from undergraduate work to graduate studies. I did not have a commensurate experience that helped give context to things, and I was a little overwhelmed. But Jim was the kind of welcoming professor that both said, you have a lot to learn, but we're going to make it together. And so in his soil behavior class, I was both seeing lots of very complicated things that I was unfamiliar with, but I was also seeing some practical ways that they might be applied. My career track was to be a practicing professional and not go into academia, so it was very encouraging for me to see that. So after Jim taught his class, because there was no book out at that point in time, he said, these lectures I'm going to make into a book sometime, so please give me feedback. He was the distinguished professor. We were just students, but he continued to seek our help. About 5 or 6 years after I graduated, so we're now to 1978, I started my own small company in Berkeley. Because Jim had been such a wonderful mentor and guide, we often used him as a consultant on projects. We were particularly interested in ways that he understood compaction and expansive soils. I definitely remember several of those projects in which Jim was always willing to help. We paid him as a consultant, and it was well worth it. Because of the numbers of studies we did on expansive soils with Jim Mitchell, he actually facilitated my selection to a national committee on the residential design of, or the design of residential foundations on expansive soils, which was very, very encouraging to me. Jim continued to be a friend during this time. Our company had annual trips to an Oakland A's game. Jim was often there in the stands with us, rooting for the Oakland A's. And so his fulfillment as both a friend, a mentor, and an instructor continues to resonate with me more than 50 years after my initial encounter with Jim. I was not a PhD track person, but I was a master's student that wanted to practice, and it was greatly enhanced because of Jim Mitchell.